A squad of American infantrymen crouches behind a shattered stone wall in the hedgerows of Normandy, their M1 Garands raised, faces streaked with dirt and sweat, as machine gun fire kicks up dust inches from their position on a hazy June morning in 1944. Three B-17 flying fortresses form a tight formation at 25,000 feet over Germany, their aluminum skins glinting against the deep blue sky, contrails streaming behind them while flak bursts in dark puffs of smoke all around, one bomber trailing thin black smoke from its No. 3 engine. A medic with a Red Cross armband kneels in the mud of a shell-pocked field in Belgium, December 1944, working frantically on a wounded soldier while snow falls gently around them, his medical kit open beside him, blood staining the white bandage in his trembling hands. Landing craft ramp drops into knee-deep water off the coast of Iwo Jima, February 1945, revealing the tense silhouettes of Marines clutching M1s against their chests, Mount Suribachi looming in the smoky distance through the morning haze, the first men already sprinting toward the black sand beach. Two Japanese-American soldiers of the 442nd Regimental Combat Team embrace in a muddy French forest after rescuing a surrounded Texas battalion, their helmets pushed back, tears cutting tracks through the grime on their faces, one clutching a wounded arm while the other laughs with exhausted relief. A German Tiger tank burns on a dusty road in Normandy, its crew escaping through hatches as thick black smoke billows upward, while in the foreground a young SS Panzergrenadier lies face down in the tall grass, his hand still reaching toward the vehicle he tried to defend. Paratroopers inside a darkened C-47 sit in two rows along the canvas walls, faces illuminated only by the red jump light, equipment checked and ready, some men gripping their rifles with white knuckles, others with eyes closed in prayer, the roar of engines filling the compartment before the jump over St. Miraglais. A Signal Corps photographer in a soaked poncho kneels in a flooded shell crater near Bastogne during the Battle of the Bulge, raising his speed graphic camera toward the snow-covered woods where American GIs move carefully between skeletal trees, frost hanging on their eyelashes and weapons. Nurses in starched white uniforms work by flashlight in a canvas field hospital tent somewhere in the Pacific, the tropical heat making their brows glisten as they tend to wounded Marines on cots, one nurse holding a soldier's hand while another prepares plasma, the sounds of distant artillery echoing outside. A column of African-American soldiers from the 761st Tank Battalion sits atop their Sherman tanks during a pause in the advance through France, September 1944, their faces showing a mixture of pride and exhaustion, one man cleaning his .50 caliber machine gun while another reads a worn letter from home. The deck of the USS Enterprise during the Battle of the Santa Cruz Islands, October 1942, as damage control teams fight fires from a Japanese bomb hit, sailors passing buckets of water in a human chain while smoke obscures the island structure, a photographer capturing the chaos through the heat-distorted air. A French civilian woman in Rouen, 1944, stands in the rubble of her home after Allied bombing, holding a dusty child's teddy bear against her chest, her face expressionless as American soldiers walk past with their rifles slung, not meeting her eyes, the cathedral spire visible through the dust behind them. Marines raise a makeshift flagpole on Guadalcanal, August 1942, their utilities torn and stained from weeks in the jungle, surrounded by palm trees stripped of their fronds by naval gunfire, one barefoot Marine steadying the pole while others search the sky for Japanese planes that may come at any moment. A war-weary British soldier sits alone in a ruined café in Cannes, July 1944, his tea steaming on a table covered in dust and debris, his Sten gun leaning against the wall, staring through a hole in the wall where a window once was at the destruction beyond, the morning light creating long shadows across the floor. The flight deck of a Jeep carrier in the Atlantic, 1943, as a Wildcat fighter lands hard, its tailhook catching the last wire, the landing signal officer dropping to one knee to avoid the wing, spray from the rough sea misting across the deck while sailors in colored jerseys scramble into position. An exhausted radioman on Okinawa, May 1945, sits with his back against a coral rock, the radio on his lap still crackling with static, his eyes hollow from days without sleep, one hand holding a half-eaten K-ration while the other keeps the handset pressed to his ear, unaware of the photographer capturing his moment of fragile peace. Refugees crowd a muddy road in the Philippines, 1945, carrying whatever possessions they can manage. An old man pulling a cart with a child and a few belongings while American jeeps pass in the opposite direction, the columns of smoke from Manila rising in the distance behind them. A military chaplain conducts Easter services on the deck of a troopship crossing the English Channel, April 1944. Men of all faiths gathered with bowed heads, their helmets in their laps, the gray sea stretching endlessly around them as they prepare for what lies ahead on the shores of France. Tired German soldiers trudge through the snow in the Ardennes, December 1944, their greatcoats dirty and torn, one soldier carrying a Panzerfaust over his shoulder while another supports a wounded comrade, the dark forest looming on both sides of the road, no sign of victory in their defeated posture. An Italian woman in a bombed-out neighborhood of Naples, 1943, reaches through a chain-link fence toward an American soldier, offering a single withered apple with a hopeful smile, her other hand holding the hand of a small boy who stares wide-eyed at the jeep and the liberators who have come to his broken city.